Good morning, everybody. This is Robert Phoenix broadcasting to you live from Fredericksburg, Texas. Good morning. How is everybody today? Had a lot of good feedback from yesterday's show, and it's still up on YouTube, and the chat is still available. So apparently, I met YouTube's rules and regulations for censorship. I skirted around. I navigated through the straights and narrows of the YouTube censorship police. I don't think it's always the algorithm on YouTube that is looking for certain keywords or certain phrases. I think sometimes it has to do with people that go to YouTube and say, I don't like this video. This video makes me feel uncomfortable. Can you please take this video down? I think that's kind of what happens. Although, don't underestimate the power of an algorithm. Never underestimate the power of an algorithm. Let's see, what do we have here in terms of people coming in to say hello? All right, here we go. 10 Dragon. Buenos dias. Happy Valentine's Day. Hi, Judy. Tesmeric 1. Good morning. Hello, Charles. There's Shari with an H and about 12 eyes. I love it. And Richard. Good morning, Richard. Richard, did you change the spelling of your name? Was it Newman before? Newman? Just curious. Anyway, how is everybody? It is Valentine's Day. First of all, let me openly confess my love for everybody, my unconditional love for everybody until you prove otherwise, in which case I move into kind of unconditional like. And then if it continues to degrade, I move into unconditional boundary setting. But until then, it's all unconditional love for as many people as possible. But I really do love what I do here every morning at 9 o'clock Central Standard Time. And I clearly am infatuated with the chat room and the people that are a part of this experience. It's a good thing. It does open the heart channel and hopefully the head channel too, by the way. So from my heart to your heart, happy Valentine's Day. So I'm going to get into some Trump stuff today. But before I do, I'm also going to do a little bit of a follow-up on Ilhan Omar and the fallout from her not so salacious tirade against AIPAC. But before I do, I'm going to mention this at the end of the show as well. I'm going to have the GoFundMe link up on my website today. And here's what you're going to get. Okay, this is going to be part of the GoFundMe bonus program. Anybody that donates $10 and over to the fund that I need to basically run a new platform for a whole year, you're going to get a very cool personalized voice recording. This is the Sherry Edwards technology. Paulette Hanson, who you'll see in the chat room, approached me and said, "Hey, I've got this really cool technology that I'm going to be using, and hopefully gaining some traction with clients." So, Paulette wants to promote and market this new software that she has, and she's teaming up with me to offer it to you people. It's very cool. She did a voice analysis for me. This is voice analysis technology. And she did it for me, and it was really spot on. So anybody that donates $10 and above, you're going to get this voice technology download. You'll basically go from my page or the GoFundMe page. I'm going to set up a link. We'll figure it all out. There'll be a landing page, and then you'll basically be asked to speak for a minute or so, and then it'll be recorded. And then this Sherry Hanson software, this audio acoustic software, will then create a profile. How cool is that, right? So that's going to be part of the GoFundMe campaign. And anybody that donates $100 or over, you'll get a reading with me. My readings are normally $155, so it'll be a bit of an incentive. Anybody who's donated to the cause, I think there's about 4 or 5 of you who sent me some donations. I'll make sure you get the the voice print technology. Okay, so I just wanted to throw that out there. It's a little of a incentive. You know, this is one of the things that makes the gifting economy a cool thing, and that allows everybody to get some value out of the experience. Okay, so I'll remind you again at the end of the show, just in case you have forgotten. Let me just check in and see what's going on here. Sherry Edwards is in Ohio. Very cool work she does. Okay, what else do we have? Paulette, hello, working fast and furious. Good for you, Paulette. Nice to see you in the chat room. And let's see what else. Stream is buffering. Hey, Kathy, what's happening? Nice to see you in there. Anyway, there's the. Just want to see some feedback. I'm not talking guitar feedback. All right, let's get into today's show. Let's talk about the fallout from Ilhan Omar. She's apparently on a Foreign Services Committee, and she's being asked to step down because of her supposedly anti-Semitic rant about AIPAC. It's a very interesting dynamic here going on because apparently Ilhan Omar's mother is Jewish. She is from Yemen, and she happens to be Jewish, which, guess what? That makes Ilhan Omar Jewish, because being Jewish is determined by the mother. It's matrilineal and passed down through the family line. So this is quite confusing on some level. Now, perhaps Ilhan Omar and her Yemenite mother might be the quote unquote true Jewish people of the Fertile Crescent and North Africa. Perhaps that it might be the case. And if that is the case, then who is really occupying Tel Aviv and Jerusalem in the 21st century? There have been some very interesting books written on this account. One of the most recent books was written by a scholar, an Israeli scholar, by the name of Shlomo Sand. And he wrote a book called The Myth of the Jew, which is a very interesting title, considering that Shlomo happens to be Jewish himself. And he basically did what Arthur Koestler did when Arthur Koestler looked at his own genealogy and his own bloodline, and realized that he and his family came from the Caucasus Mountains. And Shlomo Sand came to the very same conclusion. So when we look at the occupiers, or the people who founded the nation state of Israel, they essentially started off in an area west of Russia. And we get into the whole Khazarian genealogy and evolution. And the Khazars were a people, they were a historical people. Their leader was King Bulan. And at one point he decided that he wanted his people to take on a religion, because having a religion was going to be, again, very important as an organizing principle moving forward. And the Khazars at that time they're basically phallic worshipers is what they were. So he decided to bring in a couple of emissaries from the world's three great religions, the Abrahamic faiths, and he settled on Judaism because at that time Christianity and Islam were at war. Their crusades were going on. So he didn't want to get stuck in the middle of a crusade and have to pick a side. So he picked the one side that wasn't a part of the crusade. And as a result of that, he actually imported a legion of rabbinical scholars and rabbis into his community and began the conversion of his tribe. And that tribe, again, based on the work of Arthur Koestler and based on the work of Shlomo Sand and some other people, these are people say, "Oh, that's the Khazarian meme, the Khazarian trope." No, there's been actual scholastic work done on this, and they basically moved westward and wound up in Western Europe. And this is the group that eventually repatriates and goes to the Holy Land, led by David Ben-Gurion, amongst others. So this is a very different group. Now, one could make a case, and some people tried to make the case, that the Khazars were actually originally in the Fertile Crescent and moved up from that area through like Iran, up through Georgia and into the Caucasus Mountains. and it might have been part of one of the diasporic migrations. Perhaps there's another, line of thinking that they descended down from the Caucasus Mountains and then entered into the Fertile Crescent and became part of that lineage. Anyway, fact of the matter is that we saw in 1948 the start of the nation state of Israel, and it was really a wave coming from Western Europe into Israel. So who and what is quote unquote right Jewish? That's a big question. It's a big question. There's the faith and there's the bloodline. So when we get into somebody like Ilhan Omar, whose mother is from Yemen and not from another part of the world or part of a migration of people who at one time converted, people convert their faiths. It happens all the time. I was reading a story this morning about Churchill, who apparently was, he had converted to Islam. He used to like to wear around robes and caftans and pretend that he was some sultanic potentate, right? So it happens. People convert to Christianity. That happens too. People have conversion experiences. It's part of life and it's part of culture on earth. People try to find meaning, and sometimes they try to find an alliance. Sammy Davis Jr. He converted to. I mean, this happens, right? Madonna, it happens. It's not like it is some freak of nature or happenstance or random chaotic high strange. No, it actually happens, and it happened, right? And there's been scholastic work that's shown that. Anyway, she claims that she didn't even claim, we found it out, that her mother happens to be Jewish. So how does this get worked out? How does this get worked out if she's like banging on AIPAC and she's being accused of being anti-Semitic when probably she's actually Semitic? It's one of the mind fucks that we have to deal with in this country. And there's a picture I put up on Facebook where she's, there's like the Triad Claw, which I cannot do. I would never be a good member of. It's like this, it's like this thing. I would never be a good member of the Illuminati because I can't. I guess I can do it. I guess there's still hope for me. Anyway, there's a picture for her. She's like doing the Triad Claw. So there's a leap there that is saying that she's not only the daughter of a woman who is Jewish and from Yemen, but she might also be involved in a secret society as well. Now, that's a bit of a leap, but hey, look, this is how you get elected, right? This is how you get elected. And the other thing, too, is that there is a very powerful vetting process that takes place with anybody in an electoral process at a federal level. Very heavy vetting process. There are people that want to find out who you are. And there's a documentary on Al Jazeera which gets into how AIPAC actually really drills down and sends you sheets and forms to sign, and they want to talk to your friends. I mean, there's a big vetting process that takes place. Just ask Cynthia McKinney; she knows all about it. Anyway, there's a very interesting documentary on Al Jazeera that I think it's been taken down now. It's a very fascinating documentary. It gets into the whole anti-BDS thing, and it's a lot of undercover stuff. It's really fascinating and gives you a look behind this. I love the undercover stuff. I think it's great. Of course, I'm Scorpio rising. By the way, Mars has gone into Taurus today. I'm going to miss Mars and Aries. I got a lot of kick out of Mars and Aries in my 5th house. It's okay, It's another iteration of Mars. Endurance is the key with Mars and Taurus. So what's really going on with Ilhan Omar? Who does she really work for, and what's really behind this agenda? That's next level, and I always encourage people to think next level. It's very helpful so we don't get boxed in to this polaric thinking, right? There's going to be this side, there's going to be this side, and we're being forced to choose one side or the other, okay? It's very important. Try to be as much of a intellectual free agent as possible, and begin to make connections and see things from a larger perspective, right? Understand the patterns. So, we have to put a question mark after Ilhan Omar's name. At least I'm going to. You can do whatever you want. I wanted to talk about Trump today and the phenomenon known as Donald Trump, who continues to get a lot of attention from the Democratic National Committee. Peter Schiff decided that he wants to now take on a major, and I mean major, investigation around Trump because now apparently there's nothing in the Mueller case, which we knew all along. And if they wanted to go really into the Mueller case and really look into collusion, is there some form of Russian collusion? Yeah, I'm sure. Is there going to be Chinese collusion? More than likely. Would it be on the Hillary side? Hey, probably. Would it be on the Trump side? Perhaps. What about our good friends in the Middle East, which I was just talking about? Oh, maybe some collusion there. What about Saudi Arabia? I bet there's some collusion there too. So I feel like if you go deep enough and get into the roots of any election, you're going to find all these groups because they all have special interests and they all want their special interests met at the trough of the American taxpayer to get into our pocketbooks, whether it's through the military industrial complex and weapons or technology or special favors or whatever it is. If you drill down deep enough, you're going to find a myriad of influences across any election. And, not just one candidate, right? I mean, it's the Rothschild motto, which is, I think was it Nathaniel Rothschild who said, basically, I don't care who wins an election. I'm going to throw my money down on both, and whoever wins will be beholden to me. They felt they had the same principle around war as well. They didn't care who won a war. Whoever won the war would be beholden to them because they actually funded both sides. And if you wanted to fight somebody, you had to get money for your weapons and pay your troops, and you had to go to a lender, and that's where the Rothschilds were really brilliant. They lent money for war machines. They're lending money to Napoleon. They're probably lending some money to, England. In fact, they did. We know that they did. And it's not even probably they did. Anyway, so I wanted to look at Trump because what's really going on now that the Russian collusion stuff on the Mueller side is beginning to settle, and there's probably not going to be a lot coming out of it. Oh, by the way, apparently Peter Schiff is going hog wild because he's got some very dark skeletons in his closet, very dark, very, very dark skeletons. And you guys may have seen the video of the choppers in L.A. flying into L.A. and Long Beach. That had to do with Peter Schiff. Okay, so maybe I'll get into some more of that tomorrow, perhaps. In any case, I wanted to look at another side of Donald Trump. Mr. Uranus Sun conjunction with the true node in Aquarius, and how he is going to be probably the most important presidential figure of the 21st century. More important than Obama, more important than G.H.W. Bush. And it's perhaps not for the reasons why you may think he is going to be important. One of the things that Trump is quietly, perhaps not so quietly doing, is that Trump has a two-pronged approach to revolutionizing American society. No, it's not the Space Force, although that's mildly interesting. It has to do with 5G and AI. And I'm going to basically break down two documents that clearly illustrate and state where Trump's position, his cabinet's position, the industrialist position is on 5G and AI, and they are intertwined, right? Now, remember that the backdrop of all of this is that the Chinese are spending a huge amount of money in order to pioneer AI. They're spending a ton of, let's be honest, right? They already have kind of an AI society. Biometrics are becoming more and more ubiquitous in China. They're moving more towards electronic cash. They're working on their own massive 5G infrastructure. Of course, there's a high level of censorship with their social credit system, which basically turns people into robots that can't speak out against the states or can't speak out against tyranny in whatever form it manifests in. So they're creating an AI culture, an AI civilization. They're turning people into essentially good citizen cyborgs, and they have the technology to back it all up, and they're developing more and more and more. So if you're in an arms race, what do? You're looking at, well, these guys back in the Middle Ages, like they have a cannon. How did they get a cannon? Or late Middle Ages, or how did they get a cannon? How did they get that? We've got to get that. And so this is how you accelerate everything. It's like, okay, well, we can't let these guys get it. It was the same thing with the Cold War. Who could build the biggest, most powerful bomb, right? So this is what's going on. And now China is really putting a lot of capital into AI because they don't give a shit about about these so-called, human values. The system is just wired differently. So now, as a result, theoretically, the United States has to, match China, step for step, blow for blow, and create its own supercharged economy. And remember that it's the economy. And I've been talking about this for years. The next big economic boom is going to be AI. And it's going to be tied into not just making money, but it's going to be tied into everything that goes along with AI, which will be connected to biometrics and the evaporation of physical currency. It'll all be entangled. So if you want to participate in the next boom is going to be determined by the technology itself. Form follows function. And that's what's going to happen. So yeah, people are going to make a lot of money, but in order to make that money, you're going to have to be inside the game. Oh, by the way, just as a little kind of inside the game notice, I want you to pay attention if you're still watching TV. If not, it's my role, my chosen role, to break down TV commercials and, to some degree, culture. In this case, a lactobacillic culture known as yogurt. I'm going to break it down. I'm going to break down a commercial from Chobani. It's a very interesting commercial before I jump into the AI world, although it is connected to what I'm talking about, okay? So there's a Chobani commercial out now, and there's a very attractive, cute, African-American young woman, right? Which is a concurrent theme now in commercials. Just keep your eye on that. And very empowered, really super empowered. So she's in this commercial, and she recreates a scene from David Copperfield when not is it David Copperfield? Yeah, David Copperfield. And please, sir, may I have some more? May I have some more, please? Right? You know that. What was his name? Oliver Wilde? I think that was no, it was Jack Wilde. Oliver, forget his last name. Anyway, Jack Wilder was in it. The kid, please, sir, may I have some more? He goes up to Fagin, please, sir, may I have some more? More, right? And leads into this big musical number. Anyway, she comes up to the yogurt counter and she doesn't say, please, sir. She says, may I have some less, please? And the less is less sugar in her yogurt. So she gets this less sugar yogurt and she walks outside, and everything is kind of this like phantasmagorical wonderland. It's Technicolor. Shit's flying all over the place. Baggage is flying around. And she's light. She's just kind of light on her heels, right? And she comes to this wall, ultimately, of all these TV monitors. And she opens up the wall and she walks out, and there's nature. There's nature in all of its splendor and glory. Oh, there's a sun. Oh, there's hills over there. Oh, there's a sky. There's no chemtrails in that sky either. Wow. This yogurt that has less sugar has given her access to this other world. Isn't that amazing? Well, that's the model for the new society. That's the model for the new civilization. The walled off Agenda 21, Agenda 2030, super comfortable, super easy green prison. It's going to be all about magic, voice activated. I can say something and it'll activate something. I'll wave my hand, and guess what? The lights will come on. I'll have power. I'll speak light into being. Alexa, let there be light. Boom, right? I mean, You hold out your hand. I just paid for that. There's another commercial. Again, a young, very attractive, very cute African-American, young black woman. And she's got a phone. This is another one. This is a MasterCard commercial that's concurrent, right? She's got a phone. Again, it's a very urban situation, right? But nice urban, like Wizard of Oz kind of urban. Everybody's like dressed well, and nobody's on streets, selling drugs or anything. The kind of place you want to live, Disneyland. So she's walking down the street and she sees somebody in need, and she takes her phone and goes bang. And she's actually able to send that person some money. Bang. Oh, and whatever she sends becomes, a cupcake or something, right? It's kind of like she's got magic at her fingertips. She can take that phone and turn it into fill in the blank. And that's the theme of the commercial. And we're going to see more and more and more of this. And it's about convenience. And it's convenience mixed with technology to create a simulacra of a supernatural gift and power. That's what it's all about. It's like, isn't this cool? Isn't this cool? Isn't this cool? Look at all the power you have. But the Chobani commercial is really fascinating because it represents a division between two worlds, the natural world of wonder, and it's untouched, it's pristine out there. And on the other side of that wall, well, there's just kind of all kinds of baggage and all kinds of clutter. And she wants light. She wants less. And it's the culture. It's not her culture that she's in. It's the yogurt culture that takes her out into the green expanse of the natural world. All right. Let me get into this thing with Trump real quick. And I'm going to tell you what's going on, or at least I'm going to share with you the evolution of what's taking place. So let's get into, this is from CNET. And this is from October of last year, 2018, which seems like a century ago. It says Trump reveals plans to bolster 5G wireless leadership. The White House has ordered a national spectrum strategy and task force to lead the way for 5G. Let me doff this. Give me a second here. Donald Trump really likes 5G. The White House on Thursday announced it was developing a plan to position the United States to lead in next generation wireless networks for years to come. Okay, so remember, Trump has a Sun-Uranus conjunction in Aries. Sometimes he's going to do something interesting and good, and other times he's going to do something not so interesting and quite likely very dark. Okay, let's keep that in mind. 5G, which refers to the fifth generation of cellular technology, has been hailed as the foundation for other big trends like self-driving cars and streaming virtual reality. Oh, it's that new cool technological world where we're all walking around like gods, and we get to use our technology to perform supernatural acts like turn on lights and pay for things. How about that? Ooh, cool. I don't have to drive a car. Look, I don't have to drive a car. No hands. The car is driving. And I can tell the car, Jeeves, you call your car Jeeves, could you please stop at the shave ice stand? And I'm going to have a shave ice, Jeeves. And Jeeves, your car, says, yes, sir, on my way to the shave ice stand. And you roll up to the shave ice stand. And if you pay a little extra, that's not going to be the thing, right? You pay a little extra. You already put your order in advance. And so when you pull up to the shave ice stand, well, there's a drone that flies up out of the shave ice stand and brings your shave ice right over to your car. And you roll down the window and you pull that shave ice out. And you take your phone, you tip the drone, and Jeeves, let's go back home now. Yes, sir. Right. I mean, this is theoretically where it's headed. And it gives people this idea in the sense that everything is just going to be at their fingertips. All right, here we go. Let's just keep going. The announcement comes as the first rollout of high-speed 5G networks is expected to begin later this year, with broader deploying coming over the next 2 years. Beyond the US, China, Korea, and Japan are keen to get 5G quick too, creating a new kind of technological arms race. With all the hype surrounding 5G, it's no surprise the White House wants to jump on the bandwagon. We're on the verge of new technological revolutions that could improve virtually every aspect of our lives, create vast new wealth for American workers and families, and open up bold new frontiers in science, medicine, and communication. The development of the National Spectrum Strategy will be led by the Secretary of Commerce, I believe that's Wilbur Ross, who will work across agencies to ensure there is sufficient spectrum or radio airwaves used to ferry wireless data across a broad base with a particular focus on the use of wireless networks for military purposes. Getting more spectrum in the hands of carriers, particularly rural carriers. We got to keep our eyes on them people out there who have decided that they wanted to go off the grid. Right. Is critical to the broader deployment of cellular service. Under this proposal, federal agencies will be tasked with submitting a report to the Commerce Department on anticipated future spectrum needs, current spectrum usage within 6 months. The Office of Science and Technology will be responsible for preparing a report, which the Commerce Department is scheduled to share with Trump in 9 months, the gestation cycle. A spokesman for the White House wasn't available to elaborate further on the plans. Federal Communications Commission was already working to get more spectrum in the hands of carriers. FCC Chairman Ajit Pai and Commissioner Jessica Rosenworcel spoke to CNET last month about the need for a national broadband plan to connect everyone in the country. This isn't the first time 5G has been linked to Trump. In January, White House plans for a national 5G network leaked out, although it's unclear how realistic they actually were. In March, he blocked the proposal acquisition of San Diego-based Qualcomm from then Singapore-based Broadcom because of Qualcomm's importance in the development of 5G. The White House even held a 5G summit in September. For more details on exactly what 5G is, where it's rolling out in the U.S., and what devices will be compatible with high-speed networks, check out our ongoing coverage here, and there is a link. Okay. Now, what else does the Trump administration have up their sleeves to connect in with the development and the proliferation of 5G? Well, our president signed an executive order promoting artificial intelligence. How about that? That was 3 days ago. President Trump signed an executive order Monday meant to spur the development and regulation of artificial intelligence, technology that many experts believe will define the future of everything from consumer products to healthcare to warfare. AI experts across industry, academia, and government have long called on the Trump administration to make the development of artificial intelligence a major priority. Last spring, worried that the United States was not keeping pace with China and other countries, Jim Mattis, then the defense secretary, sent a memo to the White House imploring the president to create a national strategy on AI. Now, Mr. Trump has taken that step through this American AI initiative. Might not have, though this AI American AI might not be as bold as some had hoped. The executive order aimed to better educate workers in the field, improve access to the cloud computing services and data needed to build AI systems, and promote cooperation with foreign powers. But the order did not set aside funds for AI research and development. The administration provided a few details on how it planned to put its new policies into effect. The United States is engaged in an increasingly bitter trade war with China, and while American companies like Google and Amazon are now leaders in AI, experts in the field are concerned that China could surpass the United States. So this is the new arms race. China is the new villain. It's the new stand-in for Russia with the new AI arms race. And are concerned that China could surpass the United States in development technologies that will power surveillance systems and autonomous weapons, as well as driverless. Here's a driverless car. They've always got to bring the driverless car in a wide range of internet services. In July 2017, the Chinese unveiled a plan to be a world leader in AI, aim to create an industry worth $150 billion to its economy by 2030. And 2 Chinese cities promised to invest $7 billion in the effort. Other governments, too, began making large investments, including South Korea, Britain, France, and Canada. In the United States, the DoD has accelerated efforts to embrace AI, shifting $75 million of its annual budget to a new office that will develop these technologies. Now, you know the black budget, like the DoD has the above-the-line budget, and then there's the black budget. And trust me, they've been working on very deep AI for a long time. This is the consumer version and the light touch military version. Okay, this is really what we're talking about here. In briefing with reporters on Sunday, a senior administration official said the White House would increase efforts to educate American workers in the field. The administration plans to work with the National Council for the American Worker to create educational efforts through industry and academia. And it will call on government agencies to develop fellowships related to AI. The official did not provide specifics on how the United States will track the progress of these efforts. Okay, so it's clear. It's clear that the next pieces are being put into place, and Donald Trump, President of the United States, is in the process of staging the next technological evolutionary advancement and commercial advancement for the 21st century, for better or worse. Personally, I think it's a Pandora's box. I really do. Why? Why? Because number one, part of the 5G network is about ubiquitous surveillance and some form of control. The smart meters, your smart appliances, everything is smart, and they're all talking to each other. And they're all gathering data, and they're all gathering information. So the 5G network is the carrier for that massive amount of it. Think about it. We're not just talking cell phones, because we have bandwidth for our cell phones. We're talking bandwidth for everything. Your TV, your refrigerator, your washer and your dryer, your stove, what's going on in your car. If you have medical devices, they're hooked up to the Internet of Things. So in order to do that, you need basically an entirely new network to handle everything. I'm being stalked by Jasper right now. You can't see this, but there's a war taking place in the underworld. All right, and I'm engaging in two things simultaneously. Okay, just a little aside. Jasper, you want to say hi to everybody? Come on. You want to make an appearance. There he is, right there. There's the man. There he is. Yes, the turkey thief. The turkey thief. We had a good discussion about that, and I'm sure he listened intently. Right. Oh, Jasper even unplugged this. That's not good. Stop. He's acting out. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Anyway, so this is where we're headed. What, for better or worse? And I'm not a fan. I'm just really not a fan. And it's going in this direction. So get ready. Big business is going to be behind it in a big way, because this is the next technological, and this is the next economic boom. And ultimately, it's going to usher in our own obsolescence. And this is what I've been sharing with you for a long time. So this, to me, is one of the darker sides of Trump and the Trump administration. And he has surrounded himself with industrialists. And if you're a hardcore capitalist, you'll say, wow, gee, this is great. New industries open up and new opportunities open up. So what? And the American worker is put out of work. Well, that'll give the American worker a new opportunity to redefine who they are and acquire new skills. New skills for what? Because at some point, after the robots are built, the robots will build the robots. That's going to happen, okay? So what is the American worker going to do? Well, probably there'll be a lot less American workers, if you know what I mean. Right? Where is the pocket for the new economy? There really is none. I mean, for me, what I'd love to do and what I've talked about before is how hemp could be a revolutionary product that everybody can grow, that the licensing for hemp is not so prohibitive that only corporations can grow hemp because at some point that's where it's going to go. But it'd be great if it was very loose and you allowed, quote unquote, citizens in order to grow it, and then create an entire industry based around that. Excuse me, I gotta do one thing. Thanks. And even using micro technology, micro industrial technology. So I'd love to see that. I'd love to see it happen. Love to see it happen on a more personal level. That's my 2 cents. So give me 1 second here. All right. Let me check in with you guys. See what's going on here. Jasper wants more turkey. Yeah, Jasper was he was harassing me. He was definitely harassing me. I think I may need to report Jasper. I might have to turn on Jasper. Turn him in. Domestic terrorist. Judy, somehow we have to make AI our friend and use it to survive. Maybe it'll remind us of the power. Look, I think there's something like I think 3D printing, and there could be some interesting things that come out of it. Like I am not a Luddite. I think technology, it can be really, really great. I've been watching this show. It's my new addiction. It's called Homestead Rescue. And Marty Rainey and his family go out and they basically rescue people that don't know what the hell they're doing when they decide that they want to have a great like home rescue, a great homestead. They want to get off the grid. And sometimes they get lost. And these guys come in and they save the day. So what you can do with things like solar cells and solar power generators and water power generators, it's really cool. And I don't know, I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of interacting with technology on a personal level versus getting something off the shelf and it's just all there waiting for you. Hemp really sounds good. Super independent thing to do. We just need to name 5G hemp and 5G gardening. I like that. What does Ani say? She says, wonder what monkey wrench could be thrown at AI to disable them. There's always a solution. Just got to find it. Yeah, that's true. I mean, that's true. I mean, there's always human ingenuity and people that can hack systems. So you may have people come in and hack AI, and they may hack like a broad spectrum of AI and turn AI into some kind of, I don't know, agents of benevolence. Maybe it becomes a really good thing. Or maybe they turn the tables on AI, and AI becomes sort of this liberating force, right? They become attuned to some of the values that are kind of anti-AI, anti-surveillance, just by merely changing and shifting their programming. Quite possible. What else do we have here in the chat room? Where's Rosie? Rosie's sleeping. She's sleeping. Hey, there's Steve and Chris. The weapon against AI was shown in the Harry Mudd Star Trek episode. What is it, The Trouble with Tribbles? Is that what it is? Black Lives Matter. Black Matter. Yeah, yes, Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. Right on. Right on. You know what else matters? Cat lives. Cat lives matter. I'm a big proponent of cat lives, even though they have 9 of them. This is the time of challenge for us to address. Absolutely. Absolutely. Hey, listen, boys and girls, I'm headed on out of here. So again, check out my website and you're going to see where you're going to be able to sign up for the GoFundMe, get some really nice perks. And the new platform is going to be hopefully rolled out this week. I got a bit of a late start. So hang in there. Today is where the GoFundMe process starts. Thank you so much. Use your head to discern what's real, your heart to what's possible. And remember, cat lives matter. Take good care. I'm Robert Phoenix. I'll see you around.